Welcome students. So we are continuing the current electricity, the next part. So in this session you are going to learn about the cells and the cells combination and how the cells draw the current and the current related expressions. Okay, and what is the meaning of equivalent EMF and equivalent internal resistance, and we are learning about the Wheatstone's network and Kirchhoff's rules. Okay, and we will learn about the meter bridge and potentiometers. Okay, so these are the parts we are going to discuss in today's session. So the first one is a cell. Okay, so usually we observe the cell symbol like this, right? So we used to write in our circuit diagrams. So this is a cell symbol. It is nothing but a source of EMF. If it comes in a group, we call it as a battery. Okay, so the battery is nothing but it is a source of EMF consisting of number of cells, or we can also tell group of cells, right? The group of cell we call as a battery, and cell itself is a source of EMF. And the meaning of EMF, the EMF expansion is electromotive force. Okay, it is nothing but it is the maximum potential difference between the electrodes of the cell in the open circuit. Okay, very important, and we need to underline it. Okay, so it is a maximum potential difference between the electrodes of the cell. We know that the cells are made up of electrodes, like one is a positive and one is a negative, like what we called cathode and anode, right? So it is the maximum potential difference between the electrodes of the cell when the cell is in open circuit, means it is not connected to any other external devices, that we call as a open circuit. Or we can also define like this: it is the work done or energy spent by a cell to drive a unit positive charge, correct, unit positive test charge completely round the circuit, which looks very similar to the potential difference V is equal to W by Q, right? So very similar to that, this definition is the EMF. We can also define like this: it is a work done or energy spent by a cell to drive a unit positive test charge completely round the circuit. Understood? Either you can use this one as a definition or this one. And the cell we measured with a unit called volt. Okay, which is very similar to the SI unit of the potential difference, right? So potential difference and the EMF both are having the same SI unit, that is volt. So now the next one is about the internal resistance of a cell. So cell itself has an internal resistance in it because of the chemical composition which is made, right? So because of the chemical composition, chemical substance only we prepare the cells. So that chemical substances, what we call electrolytes, so it offers opposition for the flow of current. So it is the amount of opposition to the flow of current offered by the electrolyte and electrodes of the cell. Understood? So this is called as internal resistance, and we used to mention with the symbol small r. Here in the chapter, when we use capital R, is an external resistance or a resistor, and when we use the small r, we should observe carefully that it is an internal resistance of a cell. Okay, the internal resistance and the EMF, these two physical quantities comes only across the cell. Now let's discuss one small derivation which gives the expression for current drawn by an external resistance and a terminal potential difference. We have to derive it. Okay, you can observe here a simple circuit which is having an external resistance connected to a battery or a cell, right? So which is connected to a cell of an EMF E and internal resistance R. So I am taking here V as a potential difference across the R and V dash as a potential difference across this small internal resistance. Okay, so that is the potential difference across this R. So from Ohm's law, potential difference across capital R I can write by using the Ohm's law, V is equal to IR, and potential difference across the small r I can write it as a V dash, that is IR. So by the definition of the EMF of the cell, we should notice that, so in a circuit, EMF is always greater than the potential differences across any elements. Okay, so in a circuit, when it comes to circuit part with a multiple elements, the EMF, that is a source, okay, which is always greater than any other individual potential differences. Okay, so here by the definition of the EMF of the cell, it is the sum of all the potential differences. Okay, so I can write V plus V dash, just substitute there, IR plus IR, take the I common, R plus R. So I want to find out the current expression, so it is I is equal to E by R plus R. So very important expression it is. Okay, yeah, and by knowing this we can find out the terminal potential difference also. Terminal potential difference across the electrodes of the cell in a closed circuit. Yeah, the cell is closed now. Closed circuit means the current is flowing there. So hence again use the Ohm's law, V is equal to IR, and we know this current equation, right? So this one, E by R plus R, just substitute in the place of I, you will get the terminal potential difference. Okay, so these are the two important expressions we derived here. Now in the next part we are learning about the grouping of cells. How can we arrange the cells? Okay, so cells can be arranged in two ways. One is in series combination and in parallel combination. As we done for a resistance in series and resistance in parallel, the same way we can arrange the cells in series and cells in parallel. The first combination is cells in series. The cells are said to be connected in series when negative terminal of one cell is connected to the positive terminal of the other cell. Okay, very important. Okay, negative terminal of the one cell should be connected to positive terminal of the another cell. You can observe here, this is a positive terminal, negative terminal, and here is a positive and this is a negative. The positive cell, positive terminal of the Q cell is connected to negative terminal of the P cell. Is it clear? So we can connect multiple cells in a series like this. Okay, and these two cells can be replaced with a single cell that we call as an equivalent, right, which is having equivalent EMF ES and equivalent internal resistance RS. Understood? This is a single cell which replaces the two cells, and we call this circuit as a equivalent circuit. Got it? Yeah, now let's derive the equivalent EMF and equivalent internal resistance expression. First I will explain the diagram. We consider the cell P and cell Q. As we know that the current direction is from negative cell to the positive, negative electrodes to the positive. Okay, so the current direction, and as we know that in series combination current will remain same, right, but the potential differences across each cell is different. So I marked the 3 points here. Observe A, B, C. Between the point A and B the cell P located, and between the point B and C the cell Q is located here. Between these two terminals the potential difference is VAB, and between the terminals B and C the potential difference is VBC, and the total potential difference between the first terminal and the last terminal, that is called as a VAC. Understood? So the equivalent circuit we written for a first and last terminal, so that is a VAC. So by the definition of the VMF of the cell, so I can write this, E is equal to V plus IR, because we derived in the last case E is equal to V plus V dash, and here V dash is nothing but IR, right? In the last case we derived this. Therefore V becomes E minus IR. This equation we are using as a standard equation now to find out the potential difference across the each cell. Now first find out the potential difference across the cell P. So that is a VAB across the cell P, VAB. So just follow this equation, E1 minus IR1. For the first cell EMF is E1 and the internal resistance is R1. Just substitute in this equation E1 minus IR1. I is a constant, right? Hence I am using just I, not the I1 or I2. And for the cell Q, similarly the cell Q is located between the point B and C, and the potential difference is VBC here. Okay, therefore I can write this as a E2 minus IR2. Understood? I am writing the potential differences VAB and VBC. Now add the two equations, 1 and 2. Okay, then you will get VAC, that is the total potential difference, VAB plus VBC, right? Substitute the value of VAB and substitute the value of VBC. Take the E terms one side and IR terms one side. By taking the I terms common, I will get R1 plus R2 here, right? So call it as a equation 4. Is it clear? And for an equivalent circuit, I can write this, right? When the combination is replaced by equivalent cell of EMF ES and internal resistance RS, means it is an equivalent cell it is. For an equivalent cell also, I can write like this, ES minus IRS. Okay, you can see in an equivalent circuit diagram, at the cell there is an ES and RS, right? So here VAC is equal to ES minus IRS. Now compare the equation 4 and 5. In this equation 4 and 5, the ES can be written as a E1 plus E2 and RS can be written as a R1 plus R2. Okay, so these are the equivalent EMF and equivalent internal resistance when the cells are in series. And also we can find out the expression for current. Okay, the expression for current in series combination of cells. It is given by I is equal to total EMF by total internal resistance. The total EMF is nothing but ES, correct? Total EMF is ES and total internal resistance, total resistance. It is the external plus the internal, R plus RS. And when n identical cells are connected in series, okay, n identicals, then we can use this expression. Okay, n number of EMFs you will get and n number of internal resistances you will get in series combination, right? So I is equal to NE by R plus NR. Understood? This is the formula when n identical cells are connected in series. Now let's look at the second case, cells in parallel combination. The cells are said to be in parallel, as we know that for a parallel combination the potential differences across the elements is same but the currents are different, right? Here also the same, and the cells should be connected between two common terminals A and B. Is it clear? So here it should be connected between the terminals A and B. I am taking the cell P with EMF E1 and R1 and cell Q with EMF E2 and R2. Okay, and these two can be replaced with a single cell that is having a equivalent EMF EP and equivalent internal resistance RP. Okay, you can observe the current direction here. It's branched one, I1 and I2. These are the two currents drawn from the cell P and Q and combined together and form a total current like I. Okay, so now we have to make ready one current equation by the definition of EMF of cell. We know this by the definition of EMF of cell. E is equal to V plus IR, then IR is equal to E minus V. Find the current expression here. I becomes E minus V by R. By using this as a standard equation, first I will find out the I1, then I will find the I2, then I will add the both, okay, and I will compare the both, and finally I will find the EP and RP. Yeah, let's look at it how it becomes. Yeah, by following the above standard current equation, I can write current expression for the cell P as I1 is equal to E1 minus V by R1. Since V is a constant for the two cells, I am writing just as a V. And similarly for the cell Q, I2 I can write E2 minus V by R2. Call it as a equation 1 and 2. And the total current is nothing but sum of these two individual current, right? I1 plus I2. Substitute the I1 value and substitute the I2 value here. Take the cross multiplication or the LCM process, okay? And multiply the terms here. Multiply it. Got it? And take this VR term to one side and ER terms to one side. Got it? I am taking E1 R2 plus E2 R1 minus V is a common, then it will become R1 plus R2. Denominator R1 R2. Now multiply this R1 R2 to the left side current, right? It will become I into R1 R2. Then write the numerator as it is. Now I am just interchanging this VR terms to the left hand side and I am sending this IR terms to the right hand side. Is it clear? So here it will become V into R1 plus R2 E1 R2 E2 R1 minus I R1 R2. Okay. So now I will move this R1 plus R2 to the denominator of the RHS. Then this R1 by R1 plus R2 will go to the denominators of these two factors. Understood? So this is the potential difference, the total potential difference for the first circuit, which is having the two cells P and Q. Now I can write the same type equation for the equivalent circuit. Here for the equivalent circuit we can write V is equal to EP minus IRP. Now equate the equation 3 and 4. Compare the EP place and RP place in the equation, previous equation and this equation. Then you can write EP as E1 R2 plus E2 R1 by R1 plus R2 and RP as R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. Okay, so this is an equivalent EMF and equivalent internal resistance when the cells are connected in, two cells are connected in parallel. Okay, here also we can find out the expression for a current. The expression for current when the cells are in parallel, like EP by R plus RP. If n identical cells are connected in parallel, we can use this formula. I is equal to N into E divided by N into external resistance R plus R. Okay, this formula you can use to find out the current in n identical cells. Yeah, the next definition, electrical energy. We know the electrical energy is one of the form of energy. We have several forms of energy like light, heat, okay, wind, the same type. So the electricity is also a type of energy, right? Here in terms of electrical circuits and the current, we can define like this. It is an energy dissipated in a resistor or in a circuit. Okay, energy dissipated in a resistor or in a circuit when the circuit under a flow of current, right? So that expression we can write like this. W is equal to VIT. Is it clear? W is equal to VIT we can write. How we get this equation? Because we know this formula, right? V is equal to W by Q, correct? Work done by charge. And I can write Q as I into T from the current definition, right? I is equal to Q by T. Q becomes IT. So W becomes VIT. So this is how I get the work done or the electrical energy dissipated in a resistor. Clear? And the next definition is electrical power. So it is the electrical energy dissipated per second. Energy per second, right? What is the power actually? Rate of doing work, we call it as. The same way in terms of electricity, we call it as the electrical energy dissipated per second. Okay, we can also define like this. P is equal to VI. It's a product of voltage and the current. So this is the electrical power formula. Yeah, next is power loss. The power loss, when it losses, when we lose the power, like when you are supplying the current from one part of the wire to the another part of the wire, like we can say from one city to the another city. Okay, so there are more power generation houses which are sending the currents to the main cities, right? So due to the resistance in the cable, okay, there is a power loss. Some electrical energy will be converted as a heat, correct? The power generated at the power station must be transmitted to consumer through transmission cables. Then there is a power loss in the transmission cables due to the resistance. Very, very important. Because of the resistance in the transmission cables, it produces the heat. Some part of the energy will escape out as a heat. So this loss is called as a transmission loss or power loss, and this can be given by this equation. See, PC is equal to I square RC. I square RC, or we can also write this as a P square RC by V square. How we get this equation? Observe, we know this formula, P is equal to VI, and by using the formula of Ohm's law, I can write as a IR, right, into I, that will become a I square R. So P is equal to I square R, so I am using it for a power loss in the transmission cable. Okay, and also I can write I as a P by V because P is equal to VI, correct? I can also use it as a P by V. So it comes as a P square RC by V square. Here the meaning of PC is power dissipated in the transmission cable, and RC is the resistance of the transmission cable, I is the current flowing in the transmission cable, P is the power to be delivered, and V is the potential difference given across the transmission cable. Okay, but the power transmission loss is very important formula it is. Okay, PC is equal to I square RC or P square RC by V square. Yeah, here now we are learning the very most important concepts which is most useful for your next university level studies also in the field of electronics or electrical. Okay, so very essential part it is in the current electricity, that is an electrical network and its rules. Okay, so the meaning of electrical network is it is a complicated arrangement of circuit elements such as resistors and cells, right? So not only the resistors and cells, still it may have many more components in it. Understood? So it's a complicated arrangement of a circuit elements. We know that to manufacture any kinds of circuits, like just for a calculator, so it has several elements in it and with multiple connections in it on the MCBs, right? How the current flows in it, how it works, how it's going to branched. Okay, so everything is based on these concepts. Okay, we call it as an electrical network. So the main point we need to notice here is the junction and the loop. Okay, so for the PU level you are learning only this much here, and these are the basic thing you are learning in electrical network. Okay, the meaning of junction, or also we call it as a node. The node or a junction is nothing but a point in an electrical network at which more than two currents meet at that point. Okay, more than two currents meet at that point. At that point we call it as a node or junction. You can see here the diagram, the lower. See, this is the point, okay, where the currents are entering and leaving. Two or more currents. I1 current is entering, I2 is entering, but I3 and I4 are leaving. Like how we use the junction box in our houses, right? The junction box, what we call it, receives the current and it gives the current to the multiple devices. Okay, so like that it is. A junction or a node is nothing but point in an electrical network at which more than two currents meet. The next definition is about loop or mesh. Okay, so it forms a closed path, like closed circuit. It is a closed path for the circulation of current in an electrical network. Okay, that means it includes a cell or a battery in it. Is it clear? So it is a closed path. I will show you in the next page. Here now, based on the junction, we have a Kirchhoff's junction rule here. Very important. Kirchhoff's junction rule or node rule, or also we call it as a KCL, Kirchhoff's current law. Okay, the meaning of this law is sum of the currents entering the junction is equal to the sum of the currents leaving the junction. Correct? How much the current enters to the junction, that much of current exits. So no current stays at the junction. So this is what the meaning of this junction rule. I1 plus I2 is equal to I3 plus I4. The algebraic sum of the current entering the junction is equal to algebraic sum of the current leaving the junction. Here, by conventionally, when you are solving in a circuit, the current which are entering, we will take it as a positive, and current which exits, we take it as a negative. Okay, by that assumption, I can write one more equation here, that I1 is positive, I2 is positive, but I3 is negative and I4 is negative. That is equal to 0. Okay, I can write that the algebraic sum of the current at the junction is 0. This also I can write. Okay, so this is the KCL, Kirchhoff's current law, or Kirchhoff's junction rule. The next rule is Kirchhoff's loop rule. Kirchhoff's loop rule, or we also call it as a KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay, so if you get a question in an exam that state Kirchhoff's laws of an electrical network, you have to answer these two, Kirchhoff's current law and as well as the Kirchhoff's voltage law. These two laws you have to write. Okay, and this is the very important law. Is it clear? The statement is algebraic sum of the IR product. IR means I means current, R means resistance. That products is equal to the algebraic sum of the EMFs in an electrical loop. Okay, I think it comes very similar to the Ohm's law, right? V is equal to IR, but instead of V, I am using here the EMF. So what the meaning is, algebraic sum of IR product is equal to the algebraic sum of the EMFs, right? And you can observe in a circuit there is a circuit which is having a two cells. Okay, the first cell is here having a EMF E1 which sends the current I1 to the resistance R1, and here is in cell 2 having an EMF E2 and sends the current I2 and which passes through the resistance R2. Okay, this is one simple circuit I selected where the two resistors are present and two cells are there and two currents are there. Now how to apply the Kirchhoff's law for this? To apply the Kirchhoff's rule, we have to consider an arbitrary arrow mark here. Okay, either it is clockwise or anti-clockwise. You can choose the arrow mark here. If the current comes in that direction, observe the current direction is like this towards the right side, right? And the arrow mark direction, it is also going like that only, correct? Then that product should be taken as a positive. Okay, if the current and this arbitrary arrow mark direction comes in same direction, then it is in positive. That product should be taken as a positive. I1 R1 is positive S. Okay, but if the current comes in opposite direction to this arrow mark, is it clear? Then we have to take that product as a negative. Observe this arrow mark, the current direction, and this arbitrary arrow mark, the observation arrow mark. Okay, both are in opposite direction. Hence it is minus I2 R2. Is it clear? Current direction, if matches in same direction, then it is positive. The product is right. If comes in opposite direction, that product is negative. That is equal to, this is what the algebraic sum of IR product, that is equal to algebraic sum of EMF I should write, right? So here to find out whether the EMF is positive or negative, again consider this arrow mark, and this is the negative of the cell, this is the positive of the cell, correct? If the arrow mark direction is going from negative cell to the positive cell, observe the arrow mark like clockwise I written here. This is taking the direction from negative to positive of the cell. Then that EMF should be considered as a positive. But for this cell, the direction of this arrow mark is going like positive to negative, correct? It's going like positive to negative, which is opposite to the direction of the current, correct? Hence, this EMF should be taken as a negative. Understood? The EMF should be taken as positive when the arrow mark directed from negative cell to the negative electrode to the positive electrode. and it should be taken as a negative when it's directed from positive to the negative of the cell. Okay, these are the rules you need to apply when you are using Kirchhoff's voltage law. I'll show you the rule once again. Wait. Yeah, look at the sign conventions to apply Kirchhoff's rules to your network. Okay, the directions of the currents are indicated arbitrarily, like I1, I2, I3. Okay, as per the directions. The IR product is taken as positive if the direction of observation means the arrow mark, either the clockwise or anti-clockwise, what we write inside the loop, that one. Okay, if the direction of the observation is in the direction of the current, correct, then that product can be taken as a positive. And the IR product is taken as a negative if the direction of observation is in opposite to the direction of the current. Okay, and related to EMF of the cell, the EMF of the cell is taken as positive if the direction of the observation across the cell is from negative terminal of the battery to the positive terminal. Okay, this is the EMF positive. And EMF of the cell is taken as a negative if the direction of the observation across the cell is from positive to negative terminal. Is it clear? So here, if you want to count the EMF as a positive, the direction of observation should go from negative to the positive, like this. Here it should be opposite to that. Okay, positive to negative, the direction of observation. If it goes like this, positive to negative, then this EMF should be taken as a negative. Here EMF is taken as a positive. Yeah, next, what is the significance of Kirchhoff's junction rule? Means the Kirchhoff's current law. Okay, as we studied in a Kirchhoff's current law, the amount of current, how much it enters to the junction, that much exit, correct? So your algebraic sum of the current at the junction is 0. That means we can say that is a law of conservation of charge. The total charge, the total amount of charge is conserved. So this is the significance of Kirchhoff junction rule. The same way, significance of Kirchhoff's loop rule or the Kirchhoff's voltage law is law of conservation of energy. Energy remains conserved in the circuit. Okay, neither is not going to be created or is not going to be destroyed. Okay, so make a note of it. These two are very important. The first law of Kirchhoff's law significance is law of conservation of charge, and the second law of Kirchhoff's rule is law of conservation of energy. That is the significance. Okay, now by using this Kirchhoff's rules, we are going to understand the Wheatstone bridge or Wheatstone network. Okay, so it is a setup having the 4 resistances and the 4 arms. Okay, you can see in a picture, and the practical form of the Wheatstone network is the meter bridge, what we call, and we use the meter bridge in a practical to nearly 6 to 7 experiments, okay, to find out the unknown resistances and to find out the resistivity and to verify the combinations of the resistances. Okay, we will use this meter bridge. Yeah, first let us understand what is a meter bridge and how it works. See, the meter bridge having the 4 resistance and the 4 ohms, the P, Q, RS are the 4 resistances, okay, and the middle arm you can say here the BD, which is having a galvanometer in it. The meaning of galvanometer is it is a very sensitive device, very sensitive to current, okay, even it can measure very minute current which comes in a circuit. So galvanometer is a very sensitive device which is used to detect or to check the presence of current in a circuit. Clear? Now this setup is connected to your battery and key. So by using this arrangement, we can find out the unknown resistances, and mainly it will work on the balancing condition. Okay, so you will understand what is the meaning of balancing condition when you are going to the practical classes. Okay, so at the balancing condition means at the balancing condition the current flowing through the galvanometer becomes zero. We call it as a Ig is zero. Okay, the current flowing through the galvanometer is zero, and under this condition, so the network will set to be balanced. That means the resistances P by Q is equal to R by S. Okay, the resistances will be balanced. So if we know the value of P, if we know the value of Q, and if I know the value of S, but if I don't know the value of R, then I can use this formula here. I can write like a PS by Q. Then that is a method what we use to find out the unknown resistances. Okay, so Wheatstone bridge is having a 4 resistances in a quadrilateral form at the middle arm, where the galvanometer is connected, and which is used to find the resistance of the wire or any unknown resistances, and also it is used to compare the resistances of 2 wires. Okay, so this is a practical applications of the Wheatstone network. Okay, now we are going to solve the balancing condition expression. Yeah, this is the very important derivation in the current electricity chapter. I will explain it slowly. Okay, pay attention, concentrate. Okay, if you not understand, again revise it once. Just glance it once again, replay it. Okay, yeah, the expression we are going to find out is the condition for balance of a Wheatstone bridge by using Kirchhoff's rules. We are using both the rules. Okay, current rule also we are using, voltage rule also we are using. Yes, observe the electrical network, Kirchhoff's network. PQRS are the 4 resistances connected in quadrilateral form A, B, C, D, and the middle arm BD contain a galvanometer. As I said, galvanometer is a device which detects the current comes in a circuit, right? And how we get the current for this part? That is from the cell, right? That is a major source. We connected a cell here which gives the current to the network. Okay, and it is operated with the key. Key it is used to just on and off like switch. Okay, yeah. Now we will explain the current direction. Observe the main current I, which is going from the cell negative terminal and positive terminal. It is the current direction. It should be from negative to positive, right? Yeah. Now it is moving here. It will meet the junction A. At the junction A, the current get branched as I1 and I2. I1 will flow through the resistance P and reaches the point B, and I2 will flows through the resistance R and reaches the point D. Now observe at the point B, this I1 current again get branched as IG and I3. Is it clear? So according to junction rule, I can write that I1 is equal to current entering is equal to sum of the current leaving, correct? I3 plus IG. This I can write. Therefore, I3 value becomes I1 minus IG, correct? By using this expression. So I found out the I3 value. Yeah, this will happen at the junction B. Now come to the junction D. At the junction D, the I2 current is coming here, and from here IG is also coming. IG means the current flowing through the galvanometer. So at the junction D, I2 and IG both will get combined. Okay, both the currents get added and it forms a new current, that is a I4, that flows through the S resistance, right? So I4 is the combination of I2 plus IG. Now again this I3 and this I4 combine together and comes as a I only. Like this the current keeps circulating in a circuit. Understood? The marking the current direction and understanding the current nature there, that's very important. And how to apply the Kirchhoff's rules to get I3 and I4. Okay, this is a Kirchhoff's first law I used, right? So finding the I3 value and I4 value is important. Now let's apply the Kirchhoff's loop rule, means the Kirchhoff's second law. Okay, while applying the Kirchhoff's second law, first we have to select loop or a mesh. Loop or a mesh, as per the definition you studied, that it is a closed path for the flow of current, right? Here I will divide this entire loop into two parts. One is the part as a B, D, A. This is the first loop. Okay, I'll take an arbitrary the observation direction like this, clockwise, and also there is one more BCDB. This is another loop I am taking. Here also I will take an direction of observation like this. Is it clear? So this is the direction of observation. We are assuming that inside the circuit. Okay, and it is necessary to draw inside the circuit while solving the derivation. Is it clear? Yeah. The first loop is ABDA. I am taking the ABDA and I am applying the loop rule now. Yes, what I get? According to the loop rule, algebraic sum of the IR product is equal to algebraic sum of the EMF, right? This is what we learnt from the loop rule. Yeah, observe the direction of I1 and this observation mark, right? Both are in same direction. Hence this product can be taken as a positive. Here I1P will become positive plus I1P. And now in this loop only you have to check. The loop is ABDA. Now observe here IG into G. The current IG and this observation mark both are in same direction again. Then take these two product as a positive. G is nothing but resistance of the galvanometer. Okay, galvanometer has itself the resistance, that resistance. So the product of current and the resistance of the galvanometer, that should be taken as a positive. Now observe the I2. I2 is in opposite direction. Observe this direction is in upward. It is coming like downward, right? So these two are in opposite direction. Hence take this product as a negative, minus I2R. And in this mesh, what I selected ABDA, there are no cells are connected. Okay, right? There are no cells and there is no EMF. That is equal to 0, you write. Understood? According to the loop rule, algebraic sum of IR products, these are the IR products, correct? Current into resistance products, is equal to algebraic sum of EMFs. But here so far no EMFs, no cells are there in this loop. Hence it is 0 here. And now I have to apply the balancing condition. Okay, as I said, at the balancing condition, the current flowing through the galvanometer, that is Ig is 0. Very, very important it is. The balancing condition. Okay. Yeah. Apply the balancing condition. Ig is 0. If you take Ig as a 0 here, this will become 0. Right. Then what you get? I1P minus I2R is equal to 0. So I can send this to right hand side. I will get I1P equals I2R. Call it as a equation 1. So this is the first equation I got for the loop ABDA. Now similarly take the another loop, solve for the next equation. Yeah. Consider the second loop. What is that? BCDB. This is the loop I am taking now. And by using the observation of direction and the current products, current direction, okay, follow the loop rule, I3 into Q, because the current and this observation mark both are in same direction, hence this product can be written as a positive, plus I3Q. But observe the I4, this is going upward, but this direction is coming downward, right? Hence it is negative, minus I4S. And observe the Ig. Again, it is common, right? This is the arm common to the left and right. Again, it included for the BCDB loop also. For this observation mark, the Ij is opposite, hence minus Igg. That is equal to 0. Again, there is no cell in this loop. Okay. Now apply the balancing condition again. For balancing the network, Ig becomes 0. Okay, keep it in mind. And now substitute the I3 value. What is I3? I3 is I1 minus Ig. Substitute. And I4 value, I2 plus Ig here. Right? Substitute that. Correct? And write IgG as it is. And take Ig as a 0 now. For balancing the network. If Ig comes 0, you will get I1Q minus I2S as a 0. Right? Then I1Q is equal to I2S. This is the second equation. We got the first equation for the first loop ABDA. For the second equation, the loop BCDB. Now divide these two equations. Equation 1 by 2. Yeah, when you do the equation 1 divided by 2, the I1 term get cancelled, I2 get cancelled, you will get P by Q equals R by S. This is what the balancing condition of Wheatstone network. Okay, so mention the balancing condition of Wheatstone network means first point you should tell that Ij is equal to 0, and the second point you should tell this one P by Q is equal to R by S. This is what the proof is. Okay, very, very, very important. As I said, the Wheatstone network practical form is a meter bridge. Correct? So in practical form, we call it as a meter bridge. It is used to find unknown resistances. It is a practical form of Wheatstone bridge. The principle, it works on the principle of balanced condition of Wheatstone network. Means these two. Okay, you will come to know how the thing works in practical. Okay, yeah. So this is how we draw practically the diagram. Okay. So here we consider the length, one as a P here, and this as a Q, and this is a R, and this is the S. This is what we call as a meter bridge. It is having a wire of 1 meter length, okay, and which is connected to your cell and a key, and this is the unknown resistance wire. We place it here, and this is the standard resistance box, and your middle key connected to galvanometer to jockey. We call it as a rider, okay, jockey. So when you keep moving the jockey over the wire, at a particular point the galvanometer shows zero deflection. So at that particular point we will measure the length, balancing length we call it as. Okay, the remaining length becomes 100 minus L. As I said, it is a 100 centimeter in length. That means 1 meter. Okay, by using this formula, we will find out unknown resistance practically. Okay, so R is equal to SL by 100 minus L. This is how we get, like P by Q is equal to R by S, so same condition, but instead of P I should use L, instead of Q I should take 100 minus L. Then by cross multiplying you will get this formula, R is equal to SL by 100 minus L. All these three factors will be known. By taking these known factors you can find out the unknown resistance. Is it clear? Yeah, you will understand much more about the meter bridge in practicals. And one more instrument we used in a practical is the potentiometer. Okay, the potentiometer is nothing but a device used to measure EMF or potential difference more accurately. Very, very important. Okay, actually we use the voltmeters also to measure, and the same work is done by the potentiometer also, but in accuracy wise the potentiometer is a more accurate. Okay, it works on the principle of the potential difference across an instrument is directly proportional to the length of the wire, means the balancing length we call. Okay, so and in this potentiometer we can expect the wire length right from 1 meter to the 10 to 15 meters. Okay, so it is having a multiple wires on it. And the practical applications of the potentiometer is, it is used to find the internal resistance of a cell. Okay, so this is what you have in practical. You will do this, and it is used to compare the EMF of two cells. This is also in practical. Okay, these are the two practical applications, and it based on the potentiometer device. Okay, is it clear? So this is a potentiometer used to find out internal resistance of a cell and to compare the EMF of the two cells, and the principle is very important. Yeah, thank you.